like a Model S and Model X at this point can drive autonomously with greater safety than a person right now.
Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, do I have a story for you today? It's the snake oil salesman's promises for Tesla's full self-driving AI.
Essentially, November or December of this year, we should be able to go from, all the way from a parking lot in California to a parking lot in New York, no controls touched at any point during the entire journey.
Roughly 5 years at Tesla. When I joined, it barely kept lane on the highway. I think going up from Palo Alto to SF was like 3 or 4 interventions. Anytime the road would do anything geometrically or turn too much, it would just like not work.
Laboratory testing, because lab data drives 80% of clinical decision making.
And it just didn't make sense that internally we had so little faith in these tests, but we're still resulting them on patients.
And that snake oil salesman is allegedly Elon Musk, of course. And this article, which was posted on X, which is interesting in itself, by Dan O'Dowd about full self-driving, Tesla's attempts for FSD currently supervised, that outlines the path that they've taken, and that Elon Musk, he says, hasn't been telling the truth, really alleging fraud again. I've been doing a series about alleged fraud at Tesla, and this really continues with it. FSD, he says that Elon Musk has been lying in multiple ways for years and years. Now, I'm recording this at a time when the Tesla robotaxi event is coming up. Tesla to unveil its robotaxi at Warner Brothers movie studio in October, the 10th of the 10th. Now, this is what Dan says in the conclusion here. I'm going to jump straight to it, and then we're going to go back to the beginning to go through it. How he gets to this conclusion: Tesla is still unable to make FSD work despite a total rewrite. It is clear that they are unable to solve autonomy. Tesla's robotaxi business is dead on arrival. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Dan on Twitter, on X. He's quite a high-profile figure, has become that. Dan O'Dowd, Green Hills Software CEO and founder of the Dawn Project. I am running a campaign to make computers safe for humanity and ban Tesla full self-driving. That's his mission at the moment. And now this is from his website, the Dawn Project. It says, artificial intelligence, snake oil, a magnificent scam by the Magnificent Seven, Tesla's defective full self-driving AI. The article starts, for 10 years, Elon Musk has promised the world that Tesla is on the verge of solving autonomy. Tesla still isn't close, he alleges. After years of failure, in 2023, Musk announced full self-driving version 12, which he promised will be the savior of Tesla's woeful self-driving project. When Musk announced that Tesla was developing version 12, he claimed that it would represent a major advance in Tesla's self-driving capabilities, as the new version of FSD would be end-to-end AI. As a result, FSD version 12 would no longer be beta, according to Musk in tweets. In a follow-up tweet, Elon said that V12 was mind-blowing, before claiming that it was next level and a breakthrough. And there are those tweets, those X posts by Musk saying just that. Now, Dan says, but V12 was not mind-blowing. After a year of development, V12 was shown to be just as bad as its predecessor, version 11. The number of miles between each critical disengagement for FSD version 4.9 stood at 109, which was orders of magnitude away from driverless operation. The latest version 12.5 is at 81 miles to safety critical disengagement. Now, there's some graphics here from a community-led effort to show FSD progress and results. Now, Musk's bold version 12 pronouncements had followed a disastrous year of developments for Tesla's self-driving program. 2023 had seen Tesla's flagship product falter, and version 11 was widely seen to reflect the stagnation of full self-driving's progress, and even Tesla's most ardent supporters calling for it to be removed from public roads. Now, this is Holmar's catalog on X. Who is Omar Kazi behind this profile? He's a strong advocate, as he says. And in this tweet, he says, at this point, having FSD 11 out there on the roads is just unsafe. Pull that build off the roads and never let it see the light of day again. Now, he is featured in previous videos in this series of videos I'm doing about possible Tesla fraud and FSD. He's been an ardent supporter and linked financially to Tesla in the process in various ways. Elon Musk and Tesla needed a radical departure from the current trajectory of FSD's progress, as it was becoming increasingly clear that devoting more time and resources to version 11 was doomed. Live safety tests had shown Tesla full self-driving version 11 running a stop sign at 35 miles an hour.
There we go.
That was you braking?
I braked.
Yeah. It hit a crash.
I wasn't going to wait and find out because I saw the two cars going at each other, so I wasn't going to test that one.
And even Tesla fans Omar Kazi and Galileo Russell, who's also been in previous episodes, posted a video of FSD running 2 stop signs and almost crashing into vehicles 4 times during a short journey in San Francisco. That's quite an infamous video that's been shown around the place. They're both ardent supporters of Tesla and FSD, and they're known as Tesla influencers, so they do like to show FSD and Tesla in a good light.
The FSD legend Omar, and I'm gonna interview you the whole time and just ask you random. On some respects from the user experience, that appears to be suffering. Like, is that a cost thing? Like, whoa, that was crazy.
If you're acquiring people,
Holy shit! You just blew through that stoplight.
yeah. Oh, that wasn't good.
Like, that's crazy. Dude,
I
was a little freaked out right there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Holy shit, what's going on here? This is not good.
Wow, this is crazy.
You just need really good AI. You just need really good intelligence. And you saw like all the extra sensors, all the extra hardware, all the extra cost to get the Waymo to run. Look. And this thing can do pretty well without any of that. You could have it go do a chore. You could have it help install, cable. Pretty much anything a human can do, software is going to be able to handle it.
We kind of blow through a stop sign?
Yeah.
It was.
And they said, we're just putting this into every single car. It's getting really close to shit today. I don't know why.
Like, I gotta be honest, the Waymo was a little better of a ride so far.
Yeah.
As much as I'm a super Tesla fanboy, and that kills me to say. Like, I'm trying to keep it real. I needed to call an autonomous car, and I was anywhere at San Francisco. Based on this experience, I'm calling the Waymo. Because, I would get way less car sick and be way less freaked out.
Now, if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else with a like button, I really appreciate it if you hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. Thanks. And do subscribe if you want to get more of this kind of content in the future. Version 12 represented a new age in full self-driving's development and was an almost total rewrite compared with previous versions. Tesla made a decision to discard years of work, removing the 300,000 lines of C++ code, which had underpinned all previous versions of full self-driving. The team that had failed for 7 years to develop full self-driving now pivoted to AI. And there's the tweet that posted by Elon Musk saying version 12, which is an almost total rewrite, about 99% AI, is being tested by our QA drivers. And that was early August 2023. But this would fail as well, Dan writes. Tesla's rewrite was for nothing. V12 was still a failure, and Tesla would again fail to deliver on its promises. Tesla hitched its wagon to the AI hype, spreading through Silicon Valley, he says. raising investors' hopes that Tesla really could be considered a leader in the AI sector. The move was a major pivot designed to encourage investors to ignore Tesla's stagnating auto sales amid increasing competition from other EV manufacturers. I have covered Tesla financials on here after earnings. The last earnings was pretty dismal, but that didn't seem to affect the stock price too much because it does tend to trade on sentiment. And here's some associated headlines here. Tesla's strategic pivot to artificial intelligence and Musk's extremely hardcore pivot. It's astonishing what's happening to Tesla. Elon Musk doesn't want to sell cars anymore. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but they have pivoted. Elon Musk has talked about other products, made promises about other future products, including FSD related to AI and robots and energy.
Focus is solving full self-driving. So, yeah. And that's essential. And like that's really the difference between Tesla being worth a lot of money and being worth basically zero.
Now, Dan says, aligning with the new AI pivot, Elon tweeted that the successor to the Hardware 3 and 4 would be renamed to AI5, which supposedly would offer 10 times the capabilities of HW4, Hardware 4. But Hardware 4 had been no better than Hardware 3. The latest version of FSD running on Hardware 4 still only traveled 109 miles between safety critical disengagements. There is no reason to believe Musk's promise about AI5. Now you think 101 miles is quite a lot, but when talking about FSD, when you're supposedly wanting to be sitting in the back seat while the car drives you like Waymo does now, then it's really not acceptable. You come across an edge case after a while and you're dead. Tesla started again after nearly a decade of futile efforts to solve autonomy. Musk's hubris led him to arrogantly claim that Tesla could start from scratch and within a year leapfrog Google's Waymo, which had been perfecting fully autonomous driving since 2013.
Here, I'll open it for you. Dude!
Good afternoon, Omar.
I mean, I've never been in a car that's driving itself. I mean, it's like a whole different experience. Neither of us are driving. We're just hanging out. I'm sipping my coffee. You're like hanging out. It's just like such a different experience. There's no Uber driver. Like we're just getting transported around the city.
And for what it's worth, we've been seeing these all around and have been hella impressed at the driving that they're doing. Waymo ride has been a 10 out of 10 so far, feeling hella safe. Like as smooth as could be, beautiful day in San Francisco. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've given Waymo a lot of hate and everyone clowns on Google. But
Almost
like this is like
for walking directions.
Like the UI is super smooth.
Waymo's success has seen it achieve 100,000 weekly driverless robotaxi trips, while Tesla doesn't even have a license to conduct robotaxi testing. And there's a TechCrunch article here. Waymo is now giving 100,000 robotaxi rides a week. That's quite an achievement, and there's a lot of reports that people are really liking the service there as it's expanding geographically. They're going to Austin and Atlanta now, expanding out, even though it's geo-fenced, while Tesla's still struggling to solve their problems, their constant issues that they've had. This headline here from April 2024, robotaxi regulators say Tesla hasn't contacted them about plans teased by Elon Musk. Elon Musk said this month he had plans to unveil a Tesla robotaxi this summer, but Arizona, California, and Nevada regulators said Tesla hasn't applied for permits. It would need to do that. Tesla's pivot to AI allowed Elon to distance himself from some of the investor impatience associated with his years of broken promises about achieving autonomy.
I know what we need to solve to make full self-driving feature complete. I'm certain that we will get this done this year. Feature complete for full self-driving this year with certainty. This is something that we control, and I manage autopilot engineering directly every week in detail. So I'm certain of this.
The rupture with previous versions of full self-driving by completely rewriting the code base of FSD could buy Elon valuable time to convince investors that Tesla's new approach would soon yield results. Now, about investors being frustrated here, we can see that the stock price graph, although it had a massive run up here, and in previous episodes about this subject, I've talked about the alleged stock fraud and the alleged stock pumping that went on during this period, but it's been drifting down. It reached a high in November 2021. It's been drifting down ever since, been volatile up and down. It's gone up recently, heading towards this robotaxi event, sentiment picking up. Elon Musk doing his best to say that FSD is near solved, but he has been saying that year after year since 2014, and Dan is not convinced here. But within a year of this pivot, it was clear that Tesla's AI approach with version 12 was an abject failure. Musk was aware that a drastic improvement in miles per intervention was urgently needed to show investors and regulators that Tesla was in sight of autonomy. Without any measurable proof of success, regulators would never approve a Tesla robotaxi on public roads. He baselessly claimed that FSD improvements could come in more rapid succession than ever before. In March 2024, he claimed that FSD would receive regular updates and that the software would be shining bright in just a matter of months. And there's the tweet, the post that's with Elon saying that. But in September 2024, this month, as I record this, FSD version 12 is still a failure. In fact, version 12.4 was so woeful that Tesla was forced to scrap it before it was ever sent to wide release. Tesla did not roll out any new improvements every 2 weeks. These turned out to be minor versions with a month between them. They were not significant improvements as demonstrated by the disengagement data. By late April and early May, version 12 was a disaster. None of Musk's objectives had been met, and in fact, a number of FSD testers were experiencing regressions with the new build. Elon claimed in June that version 12 would finally see the introduction of actually smart summons, or ASS, typical Elon type joke, enabling consumers to summon their car with computer vision with no one in the driver's seat in a month or two, before stating in July that the feature would be available next month. So he's pretty fond of saying next month, next year. He can say that for 10 years in a row when it comes to FSD. Now, as Dan points out, and I have in previous episodes too, despite Musk claiming in 2016, 8 years ago now, that a Tesla owner could summon their car from the other side of the US by 2018. The released version of ASS is limited to 200 feet. So Elon did say that. He's on video saying that.
November or December of this year, we should be able to go from, all the way from a parking lot in California to a parking lot in New York. No controls touched at any point during the entire journey.
ASS is not even legally allowed to operate on public roads. Elon had yet again made a promise which Tesla is still to this day unable to deliver. Musk also promised that FSD version 12.4 would achieve roughly 5x to 10x improvements in miles per intervention versus 12.3. There's the related tweet there. But Dan said, in fact, there was no major improvement in safety, and Elon's claims were once again proven baseless. FSD version 12.4 was never widely released to Tesla customers after several regressions in the software update. Users experienced 12.4 swerving into oncoming lanes.
Whoa, that was interesting. I have a car behind me, it's pretty close behind me, and FSD just swerved into the oncoming lane for a split second.
Turning into oncoming vehicles.
All right, so we're gonna do a little loop-de-loop here. Wow, okay, I'm gonna stop that. That was really bad.
As well as attempting to drive towards oncoming traffic in construction zones.
Okay, here we go. No car's coming, and which path is it going to take? It is trying to take the oncoming path, so we will disengage again. So that is, Elon, if you're watching, we're Tesla AI team.
Version 12.4 ended up in the dustbin of history, along with any residual credibility Elon Musk had after years of broken promises about the safety and performance of Tesla's self-driving software. Now here's a related tweet from Dan to Elon Musk. Elon Musk said Tesla full self-driving version 12.4 was 5 to 10x improvement in miles per intervention. This was another lie, he says. And this from Dan, pathological lie. Elon Musk says 5x to 10x improvement in miles per intervention versus 12.3. Tesla FSD version 12.4 will go into the dustbin of history in the footsteps of 1,000 improvements. V8 mind-blowing, V9 stable, V10 one stack to rule all stacks, version 11 and nothing but nets, V12 all into the dustbin of history, all with faults. Musk then claimed that version 12.5 was a major improvement in terms of miles per intervention compared with terrible version 12.4. In May, he had tweeted that 12.5 would focus on the fine-tuning FSD and address rare, complex situations. For example, going down a narrow one-way road, encountering a road closure, and having to reverse out to find a new route. We're getting up to really recent now. Again, FSD 12.5 was not a whole other level as Musk had described. Version 12.5 travels 109 miles between safety critical disengagements, while 12.3 travels 112. Users complained that FSD 12.5 almost rear-ended another vehicle, while others observed that FSD 12.5.1.3 failed to yield for a school bus with flashing red light and stop sign out.
This morning, 1251 neglected to yield for this bus. I had to hit the brakes. It didn't slow down at all. Need to train it on those bus stop signs, red flashing lights.
Tesla had repeatedly failed to deliver a safer and non-defective update, which was any better than the ones that had come before it. Musk's claims about FSD's miles per intervention improving were a total lie. Now, the evidence from third parties demonstrates that FSD 12.5 still contains a concerning array of safety critical defects. And this is sourced from TeslaFSDTracker.com. FSD version 12 city miles to safety critical disengagement there, and not a lot of improvements seen there. Now, Dan tweets at Elon Musk. Elon said that Tesla full self-driving 12.5 is awesome and on a whole other level. FSD 12.5 has been in the hands of the public for less than a week, but that's plenty of time for FSD to reveal a litany of safety critical defects. Now, despite evidence that FSD version 12 was regressing in many areas, Elon doubled down and said that Tesla would double the average number of miles FSD could travel between interventions in August. That's August 2024. And that's Elon's tweet saying that we have a clear path to doubling average miles between interventions in August, viewed 622,000 times. Dan says this also failed. The number of miles between interventions actually dropped by 50% since Elon said this, proving Elon's promises to be false yet again. Now, Dan says despite all of these repeated failures, Tesla's AI roadmap says that version 12.5.2 will see a 3x improvement on miles between necessary interventions, a target which will inevitably not be met, he says. And there's Tesla's AI roadmap, looking at October here, where it says unpark, park and reverse in FSD version 13 with about 6x improved miles between necessary interventions. Looking at October there because that's the month of the robotaxi reveal, the event there. You think that they'll be trying to show that, or they'll be saying that's coming up next? And 2025 FSD in Europe and in China as well. No doubt they'll talk about that at the event. Now, having failed to meet his promise of 5x to 10x improvements in disengagement rates with version 12.4 and then failing to double average miles between interventions in August, Elon then said it would take over a year of driving to get even one intervention on version 12.5. Wow, that's another big call. Kind of ridiculous to say considering where FSD is currently at. It's a big call. Elon doesn't say things small. He doesn't promise small, does he? And he does say that in the tweet, we are starting to get to the point where once known bugs are fixed, it will take over a year of driving to get even one intervention. And that's got 1 million views on it. Don't forget that he's the CEO of a Mag 7 company. He's not just some guy saying this on X. He is the CEO of the company saying these things about their products. And Dan says nobody should believe a word that Elon Musk has to say about Tesla full self-driving, as shown by his repeated lies about version 12's capabilities. Tesla's defective self-driving software is doomed to fail, Dan says. Now the conclusion, Tesla is still unable to make FSD work despite a total rewrite. It is clear that they are unable to solve autonomy. Tesla's robotaxi business is dead on arrival. And the headline here, Tesla to unveil its robotaxi at Warner Brothers Studios in October 10th of the 10th. Tesla's robotaxi plan faces many unanswered questions, this headliner does. The question does have to be asked, with Elon Musk promising year after year that this will be a solved problem and even selling FSD for thousands of dollars, changing the name to supervised FSD. He has also said, proved in that article, that it does things that it really doesn't, or it's still faulty in different ways, many errors. Has to be asked that how is this different from, say, Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos when they had a product that didn't work? They had promises for the product, they said the product worked and it didn't work. How is this different to that? And maybe more and more people will be starting to realize that unless they solve this, unless robotaxis get on the road and they have fully working full self-driving where you can sit in the back seat, how's this different to other fraudsters that have been around that have promised products that haven't delivered on? Is this fraud? That's the question that this series has been asking. Now let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Are they going to solve autonomy soon? Elon Musk said Tesla's worth nothing unless they solve autonomy. Do you think it's going to be soon? They've definitely had a lot of problems, a lot of setbacks for 10 years. Elon Musk's been saying next year, next year. What do you think? Are they going to do this, or is it going to be disaster? And is it fraud what Elon Musk has been saying? Does it amount to fraud here, what he's been saying, because it's been going on for so long and they've been selling the product for money that hasn't been delivered on? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you have any of the other so-called Mag 7 stocks in your portfolio, or any other tech stocks? Do you find it difficult to track your portfolio, the performance of it over time? I have a special offer here for followers of The Art of Value for viewers for ShareSite, which is a portfolio tracking and reporting tool that I use myself. I wouldn't recommend anything that I don't use myself. Now, over 400,000 investors worldwide trust ShareSite, including me. You can track your portfolio by bringing in automatically the trades that you do from various brokers, not just one. If you have multiple brokers, you can bring them in. You can bring in historical trades going back as long as you like, years, to get the true performance of your portfolio. Do you know the true performance, including dividends? I'm going to put a link in the description to this landing page with the offer on it. You can also sign up for free. There's quite a few features for free there, but there's also the annual premium plan, the offer there. You can see the short video here to find out more about ShareSite on that page as well. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a link on screen to an episode about Tesla FSD, so-called, and the possible fraud, alleged fraud to do with that. There's a lot of fraud alleged with Tesla. That's just one of the episodes. And I'll put links in the description to related episodes as well. And do subscribe to the channel if you want to get more of this kind of content in the future. And thanks to everybody for watching or listening, and I'll see you in the next one.